don't kill me now. I'm a lifelong Mavericks fan. Dirk is one of my guys. I wish he didn't have to retire. I loved watching him, again, seeing him get his ring in 2011. I needed some coffee. What is going on, Bird brothers and sisters? This is your guy, Lindy Endzone, for the touchdown. We're taking the lead for the Philadelphia Eagles, one video at a time. If you're new to the channel, I'm an up-and-coming content creator for the Birds, so like and subscribe if you want to see more, and hit the notification bell. Do me a favor. No big deal. But like a lot of other um, brothers of the Birds in the game of you know, of the YouTube community. I see a lot of us are doing a lot of these report cards for the first 8 weeks of how the Eagles have done, and I just wanted to give a quick breakdown, not go into full detail because I'm sure it's been driven down a lot of people's throats, and it's just not good to go back to, especially that we're sitting at 3-4-1 and that dreadful tie with the Cincinnati Bengals, and Joe Burrow's looking a lot better than Carson right now. So, but I can't say a lot better. But for a rookie, like I would take Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert over Carson right now. They're playing pretty good. But yeah, I just wanted to give a little recap on how I think the Eagles are doing so far in these first 8 weeks, and just go over a little bit with the skill positions and not go into full detail. So let's get into it here. The offense as a whole is it's easy and it's not to dissect at the same time because we've had a lot of we have a lot of injuries that have impacted really the overall performance on what the football team is capable of. You look at guys like Zach Ertz and Deshaun Jackson, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Rager, guys like that who've been in and out of the lineup. Especially Miles Sanders, I'm a little concerned at this point with his durability going forward, especially that he's only a second-year player. It's not the greatest thing to think about at this point in time, but yeah, it's hard to think about especially the running back position. It's hard to think about because we got guys in the background that we don't even try to implement anymore. And it's like we can't give up on these guys so early. I'm still waiting for Elijah Holyfield to get his chance. It seems we need a bruiser back, and there was people talking about, well, let's bring back Jordan Howard, and because he's a healthy scratch for the Miami Dolphins. But instead of using draft capital or whatever it takes to bring Jordan back here, it's like you tried that experiment last year, and it didn't work to not the fault of the Eagles, but just to the fact that he had a grade 2 shoulder stinger injury that kept him out for the majority of the season, and it is what it is, and I don't think you necessarily want to take that risk again. So I really wish we would give Elijah Holyfield a chance. It seems that we need that that power back, that thunder and lightning mentality that we went into last year with Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard. It was a great combination, and I wish it lasted a little bit longer. But it's good to still have guys like Boston Scott and Corey Clement when he does actually contribute, which is very few and far between. I'm a little disappointed in how he's been, especially with his story. He's had some bad luck with injuries, especially with 2018 trying to get back onto the field, and it just hasn't worked out for him as well as he would have hoped. And he comes in this year fully healthy and is having a hard time contributing. So yeah, we need to look into some guys further down the depth chart. I wish that we gave Adrian Killens a little bit more, and stuff like that. So I mean, tight end position. Yeah, tight end could have gotten a little bit could have gone a little bit better than we had of hoped. Zach Ertz with his ankle sprains and whatnot. Goddard just comes back from a combination of issues with his ankle. I think he had a mix of a sprain and a fracture in there. He's come back. He looked 100%. I mean, he didn't contribute to how we would have wanted him to, and I think that just has to do with kind of slowly getting him back into it. I don't think they wanted to give him the full playbook and be more involved in the run game as a blocker instead of going out to catch a pass and kind of take it in and kind of let him get back into the flow. And it was the perfect game. It was the perfect game to do so. It wasn't a difficult opponent by any stretch of the imagination. Yet the Eagles still managed to do it, and for the most part that was because of Carson Wentz's poor decision making with the interceptions and fumbling the ball, which he's almost at 60 fumbles, I believe. So that definitely has to get cleaned up, and it's just these conversations that we're having with Carson is just a revolving door at this point. It's a broken record. We're beating a dead horse. It's we're trying to come up with answers as to what is it going to take to see some change, and we can compare it to the struggles that Wentz had back in 2019. He was having trouble not playing a full football game. He'd have spurts where he'd play quality snaps for at least one quarter, sometimes two. And we're seeing the same thing. We're seeing the same thing this year, especially glaring in the first half, and he seems to come alive late into third, and then for the majority of the fourth quarter for the most part. And this trend is getting this trend is getting pretty old. It's such a difficult crossroad to me trying to figure this out, and we can go to we can make a bunch of different speculations. Well, Doug's play calling can be suspect. Carson's not buying into the system anymore, or Carson's just losing. Or Carson may be losing his edge as a quarterback with regression. And I don't want to completely agree with the standpoint of regression, because it does make sense, but it doesn't make sense at the same time. You just don't lose your knowledge on how to be a quarterback in the NFL, especially with Carson in his fifth season. It just doesn't happen. Whether we can blame it on a lack of discipline or accountability issues, like I said, we can only speculate as people on the outside, not having a legitimate opportunity to really find out what's going on. It's tough to continue to talk about, but let me move off of the offense for a bit, because like I said, we know about most of the skill positions there and how well they're doing. We know the struggles that the offensive line has had to maintain its health, and how much of an excellent job that Jason Kelsey has been doing keeping his guys in line with who's coming in, who's coming out. Speaking of revolving door, yeah, definitely. But man, I don't know. And we think this offensive line has given up a bunch of sacks now. Just imagine if Jason Kelsey wasn't in there. Just imagine if you didn't have the general of the offensive line, coordinating them, making sure that they're in the proper protections, and where to line up, especially if you got Boston Scott back there, where are you going to carry the line off of the snap? It's crazy, but yeah, I think that's one thing that gets overlooked is the value of what Jason Kelsey brings. Random ass stink bug, but no, it's Jason Kelsey is like very. I wouldn't say I could make him MVP for the offense, honestly, um, because like I said, that offensive line could be a lot worse off if he wasn't in there. But I think the easy pick for the offense would be Travis Fulgham, especially with moving the chains and being that very dependable target that Carson can look to. Not so much as a security blanket like Zach Ertz was, but just to give Carson different looks other than searching for the tight ends all the time, which their availability has been lacking. So yeah, I'm going to move to the defense a second, and then I want to add one last thing, and that people might want to pay attention to a little bit because I think it's interesting. But let me move on to the defense. Secondary, I don't have many complaints there, other than the fact that I think we can still use another outside corner. I don't like the idea of Slay in that lineup being by himself as a dominant corner on one side of the football field. Avonte Maddox does have his moments, but for for what we ask of him to do, I still think he's too small to be an outside corner. He does have the speed to keep up with receivers, but as far as his side or as a side, as far as his size, he just doesn't have the stature to be aggressive at the catch point, and that's one thing that hurts us, especially when offenses want to take advantage of wherever Avonte lines up. Um, Nikel Roby-Coleman has disappointed me. He was supposed to be one of our uh, bigger free agent acquisitions, ranked as one of the top slot corners in football coming into this year, and he really hasn't contributed the way that we expected him to. And and I think there's another aspect that we can look to at the same time is that we've had some guys nicked up there. They're in and out of the lineup. Cravon LeBlanc still has yet to come back. He's been nicked up. Roby Coleman hasn't dealt with very many injuries. Avonte Maddox just got back. Slay has been in and out with some nagging issues, and whether or not we traded for him in the off season, I did have a feeling that that was one thing that we would have to pay attention to as far as a caution is. I remember last year, 2019, he did have a nagging hamstring issue, and thankfully he didn't have one, or thankfully he didn't irritate it this year. But we've seen the ankle a few times, and I forget the other. I think he had something different in the Steelers game. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah, just almost on both sides of the ball, it's just injuries time after time, and it's a shame, and I wish there was a year where we didn't have to worry about an abundance of players getting hurt. But at the end of the day, with what we have, it's it's good enough. But they need to, obviously they need to flip the coin and really come out in this second half of the season and just do what they're supposed to. I'm running out of thoughts. I'm running out of I'm running out of words to really describe where this team is going. It's because it's just been a, ever since last year with, with Doug Peterson, it's just been a broken record of hearing the same things. We're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to get better. Well, it's like, when are you ever going to turn the page and, like, be specific about it? I don't know. It's mind-boggling how you can, how you can be this robotic in a press conference, um, and then just always continue to act positive and think everything is okay and that everything is going to sort itself out, but that never translates to the field when we're watching these football games. It's at some point, we need something to change. But yeah, so I wanted to add something real quick as far as the defense goes, and I'll wrap this up quick. I forget when we added this guy, but he got signed to the practice squad. He was formerly of the Dallas Cowboys, and that's another linebacker. His name's Rashad Smith. Um, he is only 23 years old. I believe he's just a rookie. He's that Jim Schwartz type of player. He's athletic. He comes in small, about 6'1", 220 pounds, and yeah. So I mean, I'm sure he's going to be all the way towards the bottom on the depth chart when he gets implemented into the system, and maybe he'll be a good depth piece as far as the linebacking core goes, or you know, like a lot of us were hoping. Maybe it's a chance to kick Nate Gary out the door. I know a lot of us want that, and going forward, and with T.J. Edwards and Alex Singleton, great pairing there, and we can only continue to hope that he's going to that tandem is going to be the group moving forward. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me with this video. Like I said, I'm up and coming, and be sure to like and subscribe for more content, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.